In today's video, we're going to take a look at how to make this wintry festive snowman. Let's go ahead and get started. So you'll want to go ahead and create just a new drawing, and you're going to start by doing good fundamentals, right? We're going to go ahead and save it. So we'll save it and we're going to call this thing Snowman. We will go up here to New Component, and we're going to choose, actually we're going to name this thing the body. So this is going to be the body of the snowman. And I'll sketch on this XY plane. That's where I always like to start. I'm going to start with that straight line. So I'm going to start on the origin and draw a line up. I'm going to make it 5.25 inches, something like that. Then I'm going to take my circle tool, and I can see I've got 3 circles here. So I'm just going to draw in some circles for now. I know that that one's going to eventually go through the origin. But really what I'm more focused on than anything are the points. So I'll go to dimension now. I'm going to say from the center of the big one to the origin, that should be 1.5. And the diameter is already 3. So we're already set there. Let's go ahead and take a look up here. I'm going to go from the center point of the second circle over, and that needs to be 3 inches. The diameter of that should be 2.25. And then finally, I'm going to do this last circle from center point down to origin. That should be a distance of 4.5. And the diameter of that, we need it to be 1.5. So I've got the basic sketch here. That's how I'm going to start. I'll finish that sketch. And what I'm going to do is go to revolve now. If you don't see revolve there, you can go to create and say revolve. I'm going to click all of one side here. So all these little parts I'm going to click. And for axis, I'll click select over here. And then let's click the straight up and down line. When I do that, I'll go ahead and click OK. And that is going to create the body of our snowman. So everything's going to happen right there. After that, I probably just want to go ahead and click the house, so the home button. And that'll kind of center everything back up for us. So next up, what I'd like to do is create the armholes for the snowman. So I want to make sure that the origin is turned on, and it is. It's over here. Make sure that that's on and ready to go. I'm going to go to construct now up here, and then I'm going to click the word. I'm going to say plane at an angle, because what I want to do is I want those arms come out at an angle. So we'll do that. So for line, it says select, and this is why it was really important to turn the origin on. I'm actually going to just select the Z line. So this blue one down here. I'm going to change my degrees here to -80. So -80, and I'll click OK. What I want to do now, though, is I want to offset a plane from this one. So I'll go up here to construct and choose offset plane and click the plane I just drew and draw out, or drag out rather, and make that 1 inch. So now I'll go here and I'm going to click sketch and I'm going to go to this plane. And I know that this hole is going to be in this area somewhere. So I'm going to draw a circle. And this circle needs to be a 0.25 inch diameter. And what I'll also do is I'll click the center point of the circle and the origin. And let's make that a distance of 3. And just to be super thorough with things, let's go ahead and use the horizontal vertical constraint here. And we'll click center to origin. Now that thing's not going to move. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to press E for extrude and rotate it in such a way that you can see what I'm about to do. I'm going to extrude this just enough to get out of the body. So 1 inch should be fine. Okay, so now what I've got is I've got a hole there for the arm. Rather than draw another one, I think what we'll do is we'll just mirror that. What we want to do is we want to make sure we have that plane right here in the middle of the body. So let's go up here to create, and I'm going to choose mirror. Let's see, well, what do you want to mirror? Well, for right now, the object type says bodies. I need to make that say features, because that hole we just created is a feature. And I'm going to kind of just move in there and click the inside of it. Now for mirror plane, what it's looking for, what we want, a plane that bisects all of that, don't we? So we need to make sure that we can see that. So I'm going to go in here and kind of expand the body. And see how origin got turned off on us? Let's just turn that back on. Now there's a plane right there I can pick that'll bisect it. So there I can say, all right, I've got the object, which is the feature here, and a mirror plane I had to turn back on. Remember, it was right here. And then I just clicked it. I'll say okay. So now what we've got the armholes. We're in pretty good shape. So let's take a look and say, all right, well, let's make the hole for the nose. So what I'm going to do is create another plane here. So I'm going to go to construct and I'm going to say offset plane. And this is the XY plane. So I'm going to scoot that out. And I think what I'm going to do is make that 1.25 inches. So I'm going to offset at 1.25. I'm going to sketch and I'm going to click that plane. So now what I'll do is I know that the hole of the nose is going to be in the middle of this top one somewhere. We're going to draw a circle there. We're going to make that circle be 0.125 inches. I'm also going to dimension it. So I'll say from the center of the circle down to the origin here. That needs to be a distance of 4.5. And while I'm on it, just to be thorough, let's use that horizontal vertical constraints. All right, center point of the circle and the origin. Notice how it turned black. That means it's fully constrained. From there, I'm going to go press E for extrude. And you know, this is way out here. I'm going to drag the arrow this way, and I'm going to just change my number. It should be negative 0.75. Let's go here to this taper angle, because this is going to be a caret. So our taper angle, we need to change it to 5. So you can see what it does there. It's kind of got us, you know, a little bit of a taper coming out of there, which is perfect. We're going to click OK. So now we've got a hole for the nose. And last, let's create the face. I'm going to go to sketch again. I want to click that one plane that we just projected out there, but you see how it disappeared on me again. So I got to make sure, like I go to here to construction and see, you know what, that plane disappeared on me. Here's plane 3. That's the one we just created. So I got it back up there. I turned the visibility back on. Now I'm going to click sketch and go on that. So next up, we're going to do the face. Let me go ahead and get us a side-by-side real quick. All right, so we have a series of circles here, but I'm going to create a point just to have some extra geometry to help me out here. So I'm going to go to create. I'm going to say point. And I know that I want the point kind of right here in the middle of this thing, so I'm just going to click right here, which you would think would be enough. But let's check it, though, just to confirm that we're in good place here. So distance from center point of that to the origin, that should be 4.5. And it is. And also I'm going to use the horizontal vertical. So I'm going to say center point to origin again. That way it lines them up perfectly. Now I'll go back in here and zoom in on the face part. So I know I've got a circle here. I'll go ahead and dimension that. That's 0.125. Press C on the keyboard. That'll get me a shortcut to circle. I'll draw another circle over here. I know that's 0.125. And here for a little bit, we're going to use 0.25. So I'm going to say center of the eye to the point we made, to that created point, should be 0.25. Center of the eye to the point we made, we want to go up 0.25 as well. And we're going to repeat that process over here. 0.25. And come down from here. 0.25. All right, so the eyes are in good shape. Let's go ahead and do the mouth while we're at it. So we can take the line tool, and I'm just going to draw a line below there. I'm not going to dimension that, but I am not going to dimension the length, but I will dimension, say, from the center to the line. This should be a distance of 0.125. And then we also want to say from the center point to the end of the line, that should also be, let's make that 0.25. Let's do the same thing over here to this side. And now we'll go up to create, and we're going to choose arc. I'm going to use a 3-point arc here. So create, arc, 3-point arc. 1 point is on one end of the line. The second point is on the other end. And the third point for now we'll just place. We'll dimension that here in just a second. So press D for dimension. Now I'm going to dimension this. This should be 0.25. Okay, so there is our face. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rotate this in such a way that we can see, all right, we are way out here with the face, right? Well, we need to put that on the actual sphere. So here's how that works. We'll go ahead and click Finish Sketch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Create menu, and we're going to choose Emboss. So there's Emboss. In a perfect world, what we'd like to do for sketch profiles here is we'd like to click all three shapes that we drew, so both eyes and the mouth. And then we would click Faces, and we would click the sphere. Now we do want to make one change here. This says 0.079. I really like the 0.016. And I also prefer, instead of doing an emboss here, I would do a deboss. So it actually cuts them in a little bit. But I want to show you what's happened here. These are not showing up on the side that I want them to show up on. They're actually on the back. So if I rotate this around, you can see it came up back here, which you would think, well, that's not a big problem. But it is, because the nose is right there. That's the nose hole. So what I'll do, here's a workaround. If this works for you, you're good to move on. But if it doesn't, if it gives you a little trouble, here's a workaround to this. I'm going to cancel that. And I'll go up here and I'll say Create. And I'll still say Emboss. And I want to do just one sketch at a time. So I'm going to do the mouth. So I've selected it. Then I'll select Face. And I'll click the sphere. And there it is. I can go ahead and do the deboss. Now remember, my depth, you can make that whatever you want. But I prefer the 0.16. So I'll click OK there. So now you're thinking, well, all right, I've got a mouth, but where's the eyes? So here's what we'll do. We need to get that sketch back up. So if we look under the body component, that should be the last sketch we put in. For me, it's sketch 7. For you, it's probably sketch 4. So I'll click that eyeball, and there's the rest of the sketch. It's back up now. So I'm going to repeat that. I'll say Create, and I'll say Emboss. I'm going to click this eye and select the face and do it over here. Notice the numbers are already good again. Okay. And I'll do it one more time. Notice I didn't have to pull the sketch up this time because we've already turned the visibility on. So Create, Emboss, and we'll take this last eye and then click the face. And there it is. So now I'm done with that sketch. So I go back over here now to the sketches in the body component, and I'll just turn the visibility off. All right, now before we leave this though, we should go ahead and we should color in those eyes and the mouth. So I'm going to press A for appearance, and that'll pull up the appearance toolbar. And what I'd like to do is just make those black. So I'm going to go to Fusion Appearances. And I'm going to scroll down to Paint here. There's Paint. I like the glossy. Now, I've already downloaded this, but you see how there's download buttons here? If for some reason you haven't used any of these colors yet, you may have to download them first. It doesn't take very long at all. You can just click the download, then you're free to drag it. What I want to do though, before I do that, right now it says Apply to Bodies and Components. So if I do it right now and I drag this blue over, it's going to make the entire snowman blue. I just want the eyes and the mouth. So what I'm going to do is click Faces. So I've clicked Faces, and now I'm going to bring the color over. I might have to rotate that a little cleaner to see that one. There we go. Remember, rotate and zoom are your friends here. You really want to make use of those. All right, so I've got that body taken care of. Before I exit though, I'm gonna click the home button just to square us back up. Next up on the agenda is the arms. So to do arm, let's go ahead and we want to activate the entire assembly. So the top level assembly right up here at the top. I'm going to say New Component again. This time I'm going to name it Arm. Press OK. I want to rotate this in such a way I want to be able to see down in there this hole right here where the arm's actually going to attach. So there it is. And I'm going to go and press Extrude. And I'll click right there, and I'm going to extrude this thing out 2 inches. Let's go ahead and kind of rotate this around so we can see what we just did. There it is. That's pretty good. And we'll go ahead and click OK. I'm going to choose front on the view cube just to kind of square things up for us. Now from here, I'm going to say sketch. Click right there on that front view. I'm in good shape. So this is where things can get a little bit tricky, but not too bad. I want to press P for project, or I could also go up here to create and say project. But what I would like to do is I want to get us a point here that I can draw off of. So I'm just kind of clicking the end of this arm, and there's that center point. I'm just going to project it. I'm going to take a line, and I'm going to draw from that center point coming out. Now the length of that should be 0.75, and the angle should be 45 degrees. Zoom out so you can kind of see what we did there. And press enter. And take the line tool again, and I'm essentially going to create the exact same thing down here. So the length is 0.75, and then our degree should be 45 again. Now before I want to move on, before I finish the sketch, I want to rotate it because I'm going to do a sweep here. I want to be able to see kind of the end of that arm extrusion. So now I'll finish the sketch. I'm going to go to create, and I'm going to say sweep. Say, all right, well, for the profile, I want the end of the arm. And for path, I'll click select and click the line. Mine went into cut mode, but I'll go right here to cut, and I'll say join it. So there we go. Click OK. Now before I move on, I want to go to A for appearance. And I'd like to make this a brown. And I don't have brown. I have yellow. So I'm going to drag that over, but here's that download I was talking about. I'll download it real quick. It doesn't take long at all. I'm going to drag the yellow over. And then up here where it says in this design, I can right click it and say edit. And I can drag this little mouse pointer until I get that shade of brown I want. If I can't quite find it, I can also drag this slider up here. And I'll click done and close. Right, so I've got that on there. Now what I'm going to do is activate the high level or the top level assembly. Now this right now will move. We don't want that. Let me undo that real quick. What we'll do is we'll say assemble, and then we'll say as built joint. So I'll click that, and I'll say, all right, well, let's click the arm and then the snowman. It wouldn't matter if we went the other way. Now we have already got that arm drawn, so let's duplicate it and put it on the other side. So we'll go over here to the browser area on the left. I'll right click on arm. I'm going to say copy. And I want to right click out here in the drawing area somewhere and say paste. And what I want to do, it placed it in there. I kind of want to move this around so I can actually work with it. I just want to be able to click on that end point, right? So I've moved it into spot. Now I'll go up here to joint. Oh, sorry, well, give me the end of that. And I need to rotate the snowman to where I can actually see in here. And it does help to zoom and rotate. Now, if that were to go in backwards, remember, you always have that flip button. You also have this rotate. And then I'll click OK. There we go. Now, next up, we're going to go ahead and take care of the nose. I'm already on the top level assembly. I'm in good shape there. I am going to say new component. And this one I'll just call nose. So it's very similar to before with the arms. I'm going to rotate it in such a way that I can see inside there. I'll choose extrude. I'm going to click that and then drag it out. This nose, we want it to come out to be 0.5 inches. Let me use and show you the right side view here so you can kind of see where we're going. There it is. It's 0.5. Now the nose is not exactly what we were hoping for, but what we want to do is we want to put that taper angle on there. Remember when we originally made this, we put a -5, or excuse me, we put a 5. So this is going to need to be -5. And it comes out perfectly. We'll go ahead and click OK. And we'll press A for appearance. And I'm going to drag red over this time because I want it to be orange. So red, and then I'll right click on the red sphere, say edit, and find an orange. So you see I'm sliding here, and I think we'll go up here. That looks good. We'll press done. And then we'll close that. We want to go ahead and activate the entire assembly. Now right now, this nose moves. So I'm going to undo that. And I'll go up to assemble and let's just say, you know what? As built joint. Click the nose and then click the snowman. And he's good. Press that home button so we can kind of see what's going on. Looking really good right now. Let's get that hat taken care of. Right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead. I have that top level assembly active. I'm going to press new component. Then I say hat. And press OK. I'm going to do an offset plane at this very bottom. So I'll say construct and say offset. I'll drag this up. This needs to be a distance of 5 inches. Press OK. So if I look at it from the front view, you can see it's going to come in right above his eyes. But what I'm going to do is actually draw it on the top. So sketch and then click that plane we just drew. I'm going to draw a circle from the origin. I'm going to say make that 1.5. Then I'll use the offset. I'll use that offset real quick. And let's offset it 0.25. So I'll extrude this little ring I just made. I'm going to extrude that ring about 0.125 inches. Right. Then I'll come back into sketch. I'm going to draw another circle. Or I could draw or I could press P, right, and project this inside circle. Either way, I'll get the same result. So extrude. And we'll just drag this up now. I usually make this thing 1 inch. All right, so I've got his hat on. While we're here, let's go ahead and press A for appearance. And there's black. I'll just drag it over the whole thing. Now notice for that one, didn't do it perfectly. So I'm going to drag the black over to the rim of the hat as well because it considered them 2 separate bodies. And we'll press close. We'll go ahead and activate the entire assembly again. Now we're not quite done, right? Because his hat still moves. So I'll undo that. I want to say assemble, an as-built joint, click the hat and click the snowman. And you're good to go. Go ahead and press home. Just to clean it up, you might want to turn the origin off, now the visibility. I like to turn the joints off as well. And then any other origins that we have on there, we could turn those off, and especially any construction planes we have, which are going to be a lot on the body of it. Okay. And then right here. So any of that extra stuff, we can just turn the visibility off. And then from here, we got our snowman. So congratulations.